Hey everybody, Eric here. Thanks so much for tuning in today. I hope you're going okay. Today we are talking about one of the most timeless games of all time, and time being a very relevant word considering today's topic. So we're going to talk about, does Chrono Trigger need a remake or a remaster in an HD 2D style? Don't go anywhere. So Chrono Trigger is a timeless game in every sense of the word, and of course, if you clicked on this video, chances are you know that Chrono Trigger is one of the most powerhouse crossover games of all time. You know, a meeting of the minds from the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and Dragon Ball series with some of the greatest composers of all time from that time, and scenario writers working on this game to create a masterpiece, and it's certainly left its mark on the JRPG scene and has sat rightfully atop of the JRPG throne for almost 30 years. Over the years, Chrono Trigger has been ported to the PlayStation 1 with additional anime cutscenes, slightly slower loading times in the battles. The Nintendo DS version has an additional ending that ties it to Chrono Cross, and now Steam has up to 4K support. But why has this game not been remade yet? Well, of course, with the HD-2D games like Triangle Strategy, Octopath 1 and 2, Live Alive, which is really amazing, you should definitely play that, and Dragon Quest HD-2D Remake, this style of game is becoming more popular and popping up more often now from Square, and I'm definitely here for it. But do I want Chrono Trigger to be remade? Well, this is just my opinion right here, but Chrono Trigger is one of the rare instances where the devs got everything right from the get-go. The story is fantastic, the visuals are beautiful and translate really well from the concept art, the music is perfect, and there's no better way to listen to the Chrono Trigger soundtrack than on original hardware. Speaking of original hardware, I am an advocate for playing physical cartridges on the CRT TVs, of course, which was the way that these games were developed and to be played on. I suppose it's a unique and personal experience for me, but there is no better way than putting that cartridge in the Super Nintendo, powering on your TV, hearing that sound, that high-pitched sound, and watching the pendulum swing back and forth. It is a very unique experience that I don't think would be able to be replicated just by putting a cartridge in your Switch or a disc in a PS5 or something like that. Here's where my argument starts to fall apart though. Accessibility versus price. The price for Chrono Trigger has dramatically risen over the years. I mean, I bought a copy in 2012 for close to $100 US. Of course, I sold it years back and suddenly I had the chance to buy it again last year at the premium price of maybe like $500 Australian. I mean, of course, with that, I purchased the game, of course, which I've already shown, a reproduction case, the original manual with all the cool artwork and illustration and basic controls and some tech information. It's really cool to flick through that. And the coolest part is it has the box art on the front of this poster and a little map on the back. These things, unless, there's like a limited run games collector's edition with all the cool trinkets involved, you really don't get stuff like this anymore, and that's why people pay a premium. So without having all the money in the world, this is as complete of a copy as I'm going to get, although I'm going to be hunting for a box at some stage if it shows up. I mean, look at the DS port of the game. I remember walking into a Toys R Us like 10 years ago and grabbing it in a bargain bin for $20. Look at the prices now. PlayStation 1, same deal, steadily going up there as well. However, the Steam version, I bought it for like $4 a few weeks ago on sale just to have it on my Steam Deck. So what's my point? Well, like I said, Chrono Trigger is a rare example of what happens when an all-star team comes together to create something special. And it's something that was always going to succeed anyway, considering those who were involved in making it. But the fan base that surrounded this game still raves about it to this day, and it helps keep the game relevant. It's an amazing game that would absolutely still be as important today as it was on the Super Nintendo, remade for modern platforms in an HD 2D style. Let's think of like a port for the Switch or PS5. Yeah, sure, I'll take that. A remake? I'm not so sure. Chrono Trigger is one of those rare instances where if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and Chrono Trigger certainly ain't broke. That being said, I'm kind of on two sides of the fence here. I'd love for the game to be realized in a beautiful HD 2D visual like Live Alive, for example, which itself is a Super Famicom remake. Could you imagine Yasunori Mitsuda at the helm again, rearranging those classic tracks we love? Or even Uematsu stepping in again to oversee the tracks that he made be arranged for a new game? Could you imagine the amazing graphics from Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo brought into the HD 2D style? How they could work in time travel animations, or how some of the character sprites might look slightly refreshed. Of course, I'd want Akira Toriyama to come back for a few new illustrations. I mean, it would be a dream come true to see the Dream Team working together once again. My major worry is that if this game is remade, I suppose it would lose a significant amount of its charm. But like I said before, I think the best way to experience this game is on original hardware using a CRT TV. Like I said, it's a very unique and personal experience for me, and I worry that would get lost in translation, having like a 4K widescreen TV on a Switch cartridge or something like that. Not that the Switch even supports 4K, but you get the idea. I think it would lose that amount of charm, bringing it now 30 years later in an HD-2D visual style. I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't know. I'm on the fence. So what do you think? Should Chrono Trigger be remade? I really am interested to hear what everybody else thinks. I have my side, and my side is kind of like 70% no, 30% yes, just because I'm curious to see how that game would look translated into that HD 2D style. But it's not a game that is desperate for a remake. It's a perfect game, a very timeless game, like I said, and it doesn't really need to be touched. So leave a comment down below. I'd love to know what you think, what side of the fence you fall on, and make sure to leave a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let me know maybe other games you want remade. I would love Xenogears to be remade. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again on the next video.